Call the meeting to order. Are we in compliance with the open meeting law?
Yes, we are.
I guess we should take the roll.
Yes. Chair Kovacs?
Here.
Member Bonventure?
Here.
Member Zarowski?
Here.
Member
Sprague?
Sprague, sorry. Member Mack?
Here.
Member Cherry? Member Mathis?
Here.
Member Sylvain? Member Dyke? Thank you.
Public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters on agenda for action. If you wish to be heard, give your name for the record. The amount of discussion as well as the amount of time any single speaker is allowed may be limited. First item for possible action to approve the final minutes by reference to the regular meeting of November 17, 2014.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I abstain since I was not here. Thank you.
Item 5, report and update regarding downtown master plan by staff from the City of Las Vegas's Department of Planning.
We do have a member here to talk about the master plan, and can you introduce yourself to the group?
Yes, good afternoon. I'm Michael Howe, Senior Planner at the Planning Department. This is going to be a quick update on where we're at in regards to the revision of our master plan. Apologies to some of the staff that might look a little bit familiar to Robert's update that he gave to council last week. But again, you'll see pretty much in the direction where we're going, why we're doing this update. So the key concept, nice to have Mr. Sprague here, he was one of our stakeholders in the earlier process when staff was leading this charge to readdress some of the components of the master plan. We began to realize that it's going to be a very large job. There was a desire to go to a consultant because with it, you'll see that there's a couple branches where the expertise will really pay off, or that's what we're looking for. So we're going to start with, where have we been? Since the adoption of the master plan 15 years ago, it had a good start. I think you had the perception there was some vacant parcels, kind of the idea that the master plan started with the idea that there was I don't want to say a blank slate, but kind of a starting point of build your project, we'll review it, see how it fits. And that worked pretty well. From 2006 to pretty much beginning 2004, 2006, we saw somewhat of the boom. We saw a lot of the projects coming in, getting entitled, some of the larger developments. And then 2008 hit and you had the economic downturn, which really kind of slowed things down, put the brakes on some of the projects, which did give an opportunity because from 2012, we started having a lot of adaptive reuse projects. We had a different focus. We had a large, motivated party that saw the opportunity that lies within downtown because of the grid, the proximity of resources, and their approach was a little bit different. So we realized, well, maybe we need to tweak our code to adjust to how things are occurring now. So we took some of the experience that we had on the street going out to projects where sometimes the code wasn't working. So where are we going? We're looking at this plan, the typical planning fashion with a 20-year vision. There are some merits of the plan. We're not tossing the whole plan out, but again, you have to consider when this plan was adopted in 2000, a lot of things have changed. We have iPhones, YouTube, and whatnot. I mean, electric cars are more acceptable. So just the fact that we need to update the plan with some reality, some changes in development is really what we're looking at. So specifically, we're focusing on the comprehensive vision, not just entertainment, change of economies of scale, transportation, but a plan that looks at the core of downtown as a regional resource and how that plan is going to address what we need to do here. Integrated transportation plan. Within that transportation plan is a desire to do basically a parking management plan, mass transit opportunities, things that address how people get from A to B and throughout downtown, not just cars and thoroughfares, but a full transportation plan. Economic forecast, we're bringing in some specialists that are looking at some of the opportunities that downtown may have that we didn't identify in 2000. The recognition of opportunities, that responsibility again lies within the economic forecast. what businesses are catalyzers that can grow other businesses, that can bring in residents. And then the feasibility of one or more business improvement districts. Just the quick background, business improvement district is the equivalent of a HOA for business owners. So who's leading the charge? We went with a consultant out of 7 very qualified firms that worked as teams. RTKL Associates was chosen. They're a fairly large, substantial firm based in the East Coast with a very large West Coast office that is focusing our effort. They specifically have experience doing redevelopment plans in LA, Memphis, Honolulu, Calgary, Orlando. But they also have pretty substantial experience worldwide. They've done a lot of work in London, Abu Dhabi, Hong Kong. So it's one of the leading global firms in urban design, urban planning. Within that consultancy team, we have sub-consultants. Barron Pierce doing the transportation planning, Fisher Blyce doing the economic forecasting, Base Foley Warren, local firm doing the PR and government affairs, Charles Kubat Consulting, local architect who's experienced with Summerlin and Symphony Park, you may well know. Lisa Wise Consulting is a Bay Area planner that we're looking at specifically from a planning perspective to help guide towards context-sensitive codes so that we can start building a code based around how a city works and functions, less focused on the use. Integral Group, a sustainability systems expert that is going to look at making sure that we integrate some of the work that the city's done in regards to photovoltaics, shared parking, a lot of the systems that we put in place that really give us a lot of recognition and outstanding support in the community for how well the city's been doing from a green perspective. And then Kimley Horn Associates doing the civil engineering component. It's the last slide. The 7 significant products, this is kind of what planning's looking at. It doesn't look too exciting, I'm sure, from your perspective, but the basic idea is that within the next year, which is going to go by pretty quick, is that we're having this team of experts come in. They're going to do an inventory report, basically looking at the boundaries that we've given within the downtown area to see what we have, to like have a third party come in, analyze, and then begin doing that vision statement. So we get an inventory, an analysis of those components, and we start building a vision that makes sense from the ground up, that it's coming from the community, not a consultant coming in saying, this is what worked in LA, we're going to try it here. That's what we're being very careful to avoid. And with that comes the alternative summary report so that we have more choices. We're not just going to get the one product out of them. We need to see some flexibility. The preferred planning concept report, the final plan and draft implementation report, and that's where we're going to have a lot of input from the community, again, because we want to avoid having a product dropped off from a consultant saying, we're experts, this is what we do, this is what you get. We're going to make sure that we get the feedback from the community saying, you solicit our input's here, this works. And then that's where we get the final master plan. What has the consultant done so far? Specifically, they've been working with 100 identified stakeholders, various professionals from Blue River Center, Medical District, downtown casinos, some of the local developers. And they're pretty intensive interviews, well going over an hour, basically getting an assessment of your function, your operation, your business operates here, what does it do well and what does the city, what does the plan need to do to improve it? So we have begun getting a good focus, target areas of where to go, which leads us into what's the next step. And the next step is all of us, it's you guys. It's gonna be me, it's gonna be my family. Everyone that's interested in this new downtown centennial plan, our meeting coming up to have public input is going to take place this Thursday. There's going to be 2 sessions, and there's going to be a series of tables. Basically, the way that operates, you don't really get to choose what specific topic you're concerned about. If you're concerned about transportation, if you're concerned about parking, if you're concerned about redevelopment, you're going to go through the gamut. You're going to run the gauntlet, because there's going to be a lot of things that you might not have thought about, and that's where we tend to get the best feedback. Because they have pretty good results with some of their urban designers I've heard in guiding good feedback. And that's crucial for us because that's, again, that's the community telling us what the plan needs with their expertise in seeing how it's been delivered in other areas. 2 sessions, 2 to 4, and 6:30 to 8:30. Understanding that people work, 2 to 4 will probably be your best shot for getting parking. 6:30 to 8:30 will probably be the more popular one. That's the one I plan on attending. Actually, I'll be there staffing it the whole time. If not you, if you can't make it and you have friends, definitely invite them. It'll be worth it in 2 ways. You're going to learn a lot about some of the things that the city's doing, and then our consultants will learn to actually get the input that we so dearly need. So a lot of times, you know, planning department will fill in the blanks. We want to make sure that, given the opportunity, that input's coming from the community.
Quick question, what's the date?
I'm sorry, Thursday, so it'll be the 29th. Thursday, January 29th, with the first session beginning at 2 to 4 and then 6:30 to 8:30.
Where will the meeting be?
Fifth Street School. It's right at 401 South 4th Street. There will be parking made available, but get there early. Parking goes fast. And then just to end, kind of a recap, this is our Office of Communications. I'm going to show you a quick video. It's only a minute. And it's pretty much going to summarize what I just told you, but in a sexy video way.
Put more questions.
Sure.
These are the first public comments sessions.
Correct.
Will there be more?
Yes.
Okay.
Technically, we're looking for 7 follow-up sessions.
Different location throughout the downtown area, or just?
I believe after this one, we're gonna find that we'll need to do that.
Okay.
Fifth Street School is a great facility. It's a great opportunity, but I mean, to be honest, we're also including within this plan is an expansion. So we have some community centers we're going to have to reach out in closer proximity to the neighborhoods because we are starting to reach out because one of the critical needs is more residents. We need more people that live downtown to make some of these components work.
Thank you.
What's your vision for downtown Las Vegas? You may want to start thinking about it because the city's overall strategic plan includes your ideas. This is your city, and we want to know what's most important to you as downtown Las Vegas continues to grow. Now's your chance to be a voice that helps mold our future.
Number 1 choice for my magic wand is residents, more residents. I don't want to ruin the city's landscape by adding a high rise, but I'll take some mid rises.
More parks, more things to do, things for locals to do. Not all the same old like the strip has.
Small businesses, that's what makes the city go. Boutiques, barbershops, beauty shops, you know, stuff like that.
Share your vision with us on January 29th at the historic 5th Street School. The first session will be from 2 to 4 p.m., the second from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. We hope to see you there to be part of downtown Las Vegas's master plan.
Okay. Any other questions? I have cards if anyone needs a contact or if they have any questions for our office. We just handle that.
Great. Any questions before we move on?
Thank you.
This is just a quick logistical question. In terms of the actual master plan, is there a preliminary document or summary or plan that's going to be discussed
Yes.
at these meetings? Can people access that before the 29th?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, at this stage, we're pulling in raw data.
Oh, okay.
And then eventually there'll be 2 stages where we'll have that draft, and that's going to be put out. It's going to be fleshed out, kind of test-driven. We've had some programs in the past where we worked with the downtown design studio, having architecture students test drive the code per se to see like where it works, how it doesn't work, and then even at that point, it's not a final draft. It's not a final draft until we've had all the input that everyone sees what the plan's going to look like.
And the only master plan information that we have right now is basically the 2020 plan and the Centennial plan?
And the existing plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's all so
Okay.
far.
How are these sessions advertised? Just through?
Through, well, public posting, and then in this case, broadcasting. So we're trying to do between the videos, not so much the standard postcard format, because if we do that, one of the challenges that we have, we don't really have enough residents.
Exactly.
And so that's one of the challenges, is that we want to make sure that we get every resident that lives within downtown, but also since we're considering expanding, we also need to reach out to all those adjacent neighborhoods, which does raise the expense considerably, which is one of the reasons we went with Face Foley Warren. We have a PR firm that's kind of assisting us, making sure that everyone's getting contacted. And the best part is if you're not contacted but you hear about it, let us know, because it's, for us, it doesn't work until everyone's had their chance to chime in on it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you very much. Next item is report and update regarding the Symphony Park project by staff from the City of Las Vegas' Economic and Urban Development Department.
Okay, Scott Carter, who manages the redevelopment staff, gives me an update.
Members of the committee, Scott Carter with the City of Las Vegas Redevelopment Agency. I'm going to go through my projects in chronological order because that's my priority list in the office. So we're working really hard right now on negotiating the master development agreement with Cordish and Findlay for the Major League Soccer Stadium in Symphony Park. The contract will go before City Council on February 18th, so we don't have too much time to wrap up that negotiation. The master plan for Symphony Park does not have Major League Soccer. Therefore, the design standards in Symphony Park don't address that level of entertainment. We address the Smith Center and the retail associated with it. So we are also in the process of amending the text to the Symphony Park design standards to allow for this major venue of Major League Soccer and the retail that will accompany it. Cleveland Clinic, they had a milestone of December 31st of last year to give us notification of when they would take down parcels in Symphony Park and in what order. Administratively, they were given a 90-day extension. That extension comes due the end of March. So we'll be back before you in March or April to report on their progress. Citra is developing a skilled nursing center and an assisted living center on parcel L in Symphony Park. So that's right across the railroad tracks from City Hall. Their milestone for closing escrow is May 15th. They're taking advantage of state new market tax credits and federal new market tax credits. New market tax credits is an incentive to banks. They buy these tax credits and the money gets invested in economically challenged areas in our valley. And the old Union Pacific Rail Yard qualifies as an economically challenged area. We just recently closed on the historic West Side School using these new market tax credits. So that's a project that would not have gone forward but for this financial incentive offered by the state and the federal government. And so Citra's taken advantage of that tool as well. Eldorado Rodeo is coming back to Symphony Park this year, and that'll occur in May. They'll have access to the site starting sometime in March to start preparing the site, letting vendors have access. And then finally, just before Christmas, I met with Newland Communities. They don't have a milestone to start developing residential in Symphony Park until 2017. But we invited them to Las Vegas and asked them how the economy's going, what are they doing to move things forward. Do they anticipate being able to start construction in 2017? What they reported back was they've hired a consultant to look at a mix of low-rise and mid-rise residential to see if there's some combination that would work financially in this recovering economy. So they're looking at it, and they were looking at it before we made the call, which I really appreciate. They're being proactive instead of reactive. I have not heard results back from that study, but I will follow up with them. Something that's available but has not been used in Symphony Park is our visual improvement program and our Quick Start program. These are redevelopment funds that we've set aside in our budget to help with exterior improvements or code compliance on interior improvements within the redevelopment area. We have two different redevelopment areas, RDA 1 and then RDA 2. In RDA 1, we had budgeted $397,650 for the Quick Start program, and I have applications that use up all that money. Also in RDA 1, the visual improvement program was funded at $749,400. There's only $287,650 remaining. So we still have 5 months left in this fiscal year. There's a good chance that we could have applications to issue all those funds. In RDA 2, when we first came up with visual improvement program and Quick Start program, it took a couple years for the community to recognize what it was, how they could use it, and where it applied. So we're just starting to ramp up in the second redevelopment area on the west side of I-15. So we had $499,300 budgeted in the Quick Start program, and we closed on one transaction for $45,000. And on the visual improvement program, we had $299,600 budgeted. There's $149,600 remaining. So we have $150,000 in grants. That's 3 projects that we funded so far. I'm available for any questions.
One question I had kind of been ongoing as we've been learning about these various programs is the breakdown of the applicants. Are they all affiliated with each other? Are you getting one group of investors that have a bunch of projects, or are you getting a lot of separate kind of discrete projects from discrete investors?
Thank you. We reported to you, the committee, early this fiscal year that last year we had 2 investors who were buying up existing properties that were boarded, vacated, really deteriorated properties, and took advantage of these programs to fix up those properties. They did a phenomenal job, but they monopolized a lot of the money. And we had many more applicants who wanted to use the programs but couldn't because the money had been allocated to these projects. So it was a good use of the program, but it was unevenly distributed because of some very savvy developers. So at the beginning of this fiscal year, we came up with new guidelines as we came up with the new budget.
And we stopped the program for a while.
We stopped the program for a while to make sure that elected officials, city management, we had a chance to talk to some of our people and make sure they understood and agreed with the new guidelines. We also came up with targeted areas to redistribute some of the money. So the visual improvement program is available all throughout the redevelopment areas. But if you're located in a targeted area, the grant can go from $25,000 up to $50,000. We've kept track of every grant we've issued. We put dots on the map, and we saw where the clusters of investment had been located and determined we didn't need to put a lot more money in those areas, but we found strips that had not received much investment at all. For example, the industrial corridor or Main Street. Those are 2 key areas that have not had a lot of new investment. So we created targeted areas. And then we came up with a guideline that only 1 applicant per project per year to make sure that 1 individual, whether they own the property and occupy it themselves or their tenant is occupying it, it's 1 applicant per project per year. I've had a couple tenants of one of these other developers want to apply for the program, but that developer already has a grant and he would ultimately benefit from it, and so we've denied that application. So we're trying, and I feel that we've had a pretty good distribution of the funds in different kinds of businesses. It hasn't just been bars and restaurants. We have a motorcycle shop coming downtown. We have a tech company in the redevelopment area too. We have a company who's helping people qualify for LEED green certification in RDA 2. So it's been a really good distribution of businesses and job creation.
Excellent. Thank you.
That's good.
Good. Next item, discussion for possible action regarding the 2015 Citizen Advisory Committee to the Las Vegas Redevelopment Agency meeting schedule.
We have Scott Ann talk about both these items.
Good afternoon, Scott Young, City of Las Vegas Economic and Urban Development Department. In front of you, you have a meeting schedule which has proposed dates for the remaining meetings for 2015. The meetings are generally held on the fourth Monday every other month. So the next meeting would be in March, and then followed by May, July, September, and November. In May and November, the proposed date is actually the third Monday, and that's because in May, the fourth Monday is Memorial Day, and in November, the fourth Monday is the week of Thanksgiving.
So I guess we need a motion to approve the 2015 meeting schedule.
I so move.
I second. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Next item, discussion for possible action regarding the election of officers for 2015. Scott.
Scott Young, City of Las Vegas Economic and Urban Development. This is a procedural item. It's just housekeeping to elect new officers. Mr. Chairman, you can nominate, members can nominate each other for the different positions.
Which offices do we have to fill?
It's all of them, the whole slate. I mean,
Chair,
no.
Vice Chair.
Chair, Vice Chair?
And secretary, right?
No,
Secretary of office?
No,
No
only Chair,
secretary?
Vice Chair.
Okay.
Okay. I would like to nominate Member Mathis as chair.
I'll second it.
If you're interested, you don't have to.
Congratulations.
By acclamation, without objection.
Aye.
All right, I'm not going to make them vote. Somebody
I'd like to nominate Member Mack for vice chair.
Second.
The males can't always carry the ship.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations and thank you. And we'll hand this over next time. Good part. Yeah. All right, next item, discussion regarding topics for future agenda items by the Citizen Advisory Committee to the Las Vegas Redevelopment Agency. Comments made by individual committee members shall refer solely to proposals for future agenda items, and any discussion shall be limited to whether or not any such proposed items are within the purview of the board and or whether such proposed items shall be placed on a future agenda. No discussion regarding the substance of any such proposed topic shall occur, and no action shall be taken regarding the proposal. Any ideas for topics for next time? I have one. Anybody else? I'd like to get an update, if we can, on residential developments in the RDA. Not just necessarily the possible development in Symphony Park, but kind of throughout the RDA or anything else in downtown. It would be appropriate to talk about in front of the committee. And that could be anything from, the status of breakdown, homeowners, renters, any trends in that regard, possible new projects, just things like that to get a better picture of where things are going in terms of people moving in, moving out, how long they're staying, concerns in that regard. Because that seems to be kind of an important issue going forward, big picture wise, and I know it's important to me personally, so I'd like to hear more about that. Anything else?
I do. Member Zarowski, I'd like to know if someone could speak to us even briefly about the exit strategy for the traffic that's going to come out of Symphony Park when that soccer stadium is done. Because we have a lot of neighborhoods of one I live in around there. I mean, the traffic that's going to be going on to Charleston, Alta, Rancho, it's a concern for a lot of us.
Just for your information, I have a meeting tomorrow with a consultant to do a new traffic study. We haven't done a traffic study in Symphony Park since 2004 when we created the master plan. So in this new economy, with the change of the master plan with the stadium, we will be getting a new traffic study that will help answer your question.
Okay, good.
Thank you. Good job.
That's good.
Okay, next item, citizens' participation. Public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters within the jurisdiction of the board. No subject may be acted upon by the board unless that subject is on the agenda and is scheduled for action. If you wish to be heard, give your name for the record. The amount of discussion on any single subject, as well as the amount of time any single speaker is allowed, may be limited. Seeing none, we're adjourned.